Sunali Otit have been at the forefront of promoting football within the older generations, especially in the last few years, when we've seen an explosion of interest from the older generation. When I say older generation, I'm talking about players over the ages of 35, 40 and 50. Just last Sunday, we had another very successful tournament at Mabley Green in Hackney, where Sylhet District as a district came together with their 4 divisions to play a major football tournament. This was the first time that the Sunali Otit Sylhet District Club has taken place on these shores, especially in London. Now the teams included Nobby Goinj, Sunam Goinj, Molvi Bazar and Sylhet District itself. There were 2 categories played, one for the over 40s and one for the over 50s. Before we get into the more interesting part of the over 50s, we will talk to the lesser known 40s, shall we say. And it gives me great pleasure to first of all congratulate the boys in yellow, Sunam Goinj District, who actually won the prestigious over 40s tournament against Sylhet, my team, in the final. And we'll be finding out a little bit more about the tournament, about the careers of some of these people who are with me, these esteemed guests with me in the studio here today as well. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, the first person I have here is Bokul Hussain. You were the team coordinator for Sunam Goinj District. And tell me how you got together. Obviously, you're very involved with Jagannathpur, having been there as well. What was different about getting everybody from your district together, sub-district together, and was it any different? You, tell us about it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emdad, for inviting us, and also thank you to LB24. It has been really wonderful to get everybody together, and I found it so easy as well, because what the concept behind was to get the district cup. It was a wonderful concept by Sunali Otit as well, I have to say that. And again, we'd like to thank Sunali Otit for doing that. After playing Upajila Cup, then we had to play the District Cup. It became so easier to get all the committee sorted, because from each Upajila, we have nominated 3 committee members. And the people who actually was running each Upajila, from there, they selected their own committee members, and we made a committee for district committee. And from there, we selected the player manager as well as a representative to go and represent to the Sunali Otit. And because we had a very wonderful guys and very experienced guys to run the whole team itself, getting the finance sorted, getting the manager sorted, getting the training facility sorted. It was, I mean, without any shadow of a doubt, I mean, I can't praise enough for the whole Sunam Goinj district committee itself, as well as the player as well. And especially the manager we had and the captain we had, I mean, they've been wonderful as well to helping us, to help them and take the Sunam Goinj.
They wouldn't be here in the studio with you at this moment, would they?
They are. We are very pleased to say they are with us at the moment.
Never have guessed.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we're looking at a historic figure in Bangladeshi football. I myself have got a slight confession to make, shall I say. I'm a bit starstruck, to be honest with you. But when I was a youngster playing for PYO Youth, we used to see this gentleman here, Goyas, and he was an archetypal defender. I don't know why he didn't make it in higher level football, in the leagues and so forth as well. But watching him play, I think in the safety of the studio, I can say that he was a central defender who I greatly admired growing up. Sadly, I didn't have the inches on top to make it as a centre half in that level, but I do remember basing a lot of my games and the way I played around watching him play and picking up tips. He obviously didn't see me. I was just a little youngster on the sidelines watching him play, but it's obvious, and he should feel warm knowing that he made an impact on people like ourselves as youngsters as well. So welcome to the studio, guys. You were the captain of Sunam Goinj on Sunday. How does it feel to have lifted the very first Sylhet District Cup?
Well, first of all, Assalamu alaikum, and thanks for that amazing introduction. You're right. I don't sort of remember the younger days. We just kept on playing. But now at this age, I do realise the impact it's actually having on the younger generation, and even at that time, the impact it has had on them. With that sort of background, this tournament has been amazing. The sort of winning was icing on the cake. It's a unique tournament, and because of the uniqueness, it was a different feeling. And as a captain, I just couldn't explain. I mean, I've actually captained a lot of winning teams as well in the past, But this one had a twist to it. And the twist was basically, you know, the whole community getting together, and there's a connection to, you know, the homeland. That hence why it's called, you know, Sylhet District or the Upazila Cup, or you know, as such. So it was different. It was unique. It's a moment I'll cherish for the rest of my life, I think. And I'd like to thank people like Brother Bokul here and Shofiq, who, you know, did an amazing job to get us together. And it wasn't difficult, I must say. We've got about 11 Upazilas to make up the Sunamganj team itself. So that was a task in itself. And I'm just so proud to sort of represent, you know, the best of the Upazilas within Sunamganj. And, you know, I'm so happy to sort of lift that cup on the day.
Goyas, as I said very briefly, he's a Stars of East End and PYO legend. He was the very first, for those youngsters who are watching who are interested in football or historical football, what I need to point out is Bangladeshi football has a rich history in general in Great Britain. And a lot of it has been catalogued, but in separate instances as well. Somebody needs to bring this story together. But when you look at the history overall, someone like Goyas has got a rich, should we say, contribution to this history as well. And as I mentioned, he was also the very first captain of Sporting Bengal. So any youngsters who are watching, do a little bit of homework, look at the contributions of legends like this and what they've done to contribute. And obviously during the course of this show, we'll touch on a little bit about the inspiration that these figures have had on younger generations as well. Now my third guest there is Mr. Shofiqul Islam, I should say, and he's the successful manager of Sunamganj district. And all I want to say as an introduction to him is he's got more silverware than Buckingham Palace. Welcome to the show. Thank you, sir. And Shofiq Bhai, you know, you've captained many winning sides over the year. Again, just touching on what I asked Bokul and Goyas in the studio as well. What did it mean for you to guide this team on Sunday to such a memorable triumph?
Firstly, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, Namba, to invite me here today. This one, to manage my district, is something so big for me. I feel honored, and especially to the committee. You know, I'm very lucky to be, you know, managing. And my lifetime, I've been managing a lot of clubs, but this is something so unique and so big for me. As you know, I can express myself. So I'm really proud to be a winning manager as a Sunamganj district. Really thanks to my committee member, they had to believe on me. I can go all the way.
Going back to yourself again, sir, in terms of the organization, you were also part of, not only were you part of the administration, you played a major part in organizing and managing and getting everything together, the logistics, but you played a prominent role, if I remember correctly, in the over 50s final as well. So what persuaded you, of all people, to take up the gloves for the over 50s final?
Well, I mean, thank you, Emdad, for noticing that I played. I mean, it's just that...
Noticing, he saved a penalty.
Couldn't ignore him.
Yeah, he couldn't ignore him.
I mean, there was a goalkeeper meant to come and play for our over 50. I mean, but unfortunately he was fallen ill. So I was the standby goalkeeper. So I had to go on the pitch and then do my level best in the keeping. Although I played about 20 years ago, but I mean, I thought it's going to be really tough and hard, and it was really tough and hard because still I've got the aching all over my body at the moment, aching. Because I wanted to do it for the Sunamganj district itself. It's regardless whether they play for over 40 and we play for over 50. End of the day, it's the name Sunamganj district itself. That's where we are from, although we are all Bangladeshis. But when it comes to like Upazila and district, and as soon as my district needed me as a soldier, I thought that's it. Come rain or shine, it doesn't matter how many ball hits me, it's not passing through me. It's and I think one or two did pass through me, but it wasn't my mistake though. So I did my level best. I did my level best, and I've got the video to prove it as well. So I mean, that's persuaded me. It's like, just go and play, enjoy. That's what I did end of the day. And I was so proud that I played against players like Nurul Bhai from Sylhet and Babul Bhai and Makhluk Bhai and few others. because as I have said, I never played football. Goyas knows that. Shofiqul Bachwa as well, you as well. But playing against those legends, I will say, I was really honoured, and to be keeper of the Sunamganj 50+ team, I was really honoured and pleased. And again, like to thank my colleagues who actually had a faith on me, so I can be the keeper.
Me, as Sylhet District over 50s manager, I'm standing there and I'm thinking, my team are on the pitch, where are they? Are they doing one of those mental ones where, you know what, keep them waiting and then we're going to get them? And the next thing I could hear the rocket tune playing in my head, and I see the over 50s coming out of the gazebo and they're all being clapped on. And then all the yellow kits there as well. And I thought to myself, dear God, they better win it after this. That's all I kept on thinking. I thought to myself, they better win it after this. And I'm just sitting there thinking, you know what, we're so boring. We're just standing there, some of them picking their noses, somebody scratching their back, and they're just waiting. And then look at the entrances. Thankfully, we won. So I'm quite happy with that. But on the subject of the over 50s, you yourself, you're not far off from reaching that milestone, should we say, as well. How important is it, judging by what we saw on Sunday? So this is the first time we actually had an active tournament for over 50s, where we had Sunamganj District playing Sylhet District in the final. So how important is it for us to have this continuity?
I think it's vital for continuing this sort of project in a way. I think, you know, we were talking about Sunamganj over 40s winning the tournament, Sylhet over 50s winning the tournament. I think the winners are the whole community itself.
Yes.
Mainly because, I mean, just watching the over 50s, the entertainment value, unbelievable when two guys were sort of trying to tackle each other, let's call it a tackle. They fell over, rolling on top of each other, trying to grab each other just to get up. And that sort of thing, isn't it? It's just unbelievable that we can do something like this to get these brothers together. As you say, I'm approaching 50 very soon. I'd like to continue playing football in one form or another. And nature has it that there's no way I'm going to compete at a decent level or a high level. So I'd like to continue in a sort of more friendly manner with people of my sort of ability and fitness as well. Where do I go? This is exactly what's needed in our community. A lot of the Bokul's just giving you a prime example. 20 years ago he played, and not competitively, but he's come back and he wants to be involved one way or the other, whether he's playing, whether he's organising. And I think looking at that, I'm now thinking there's no way I'm going to retire. They tried to retire me a few years ago actually, but I'm seeing people like Nurul Bey coming back, and our sort of Muhammadan chairman Arshali Bey coming back and playing. And actually, going to gyms, jogging, the benefits are unbelievable, and that sort of thing inspires me to carry on. And I hope others are, younger generations than myself are inspired in the same way. And, they do continue to sort of, put these things together, whether they play or be part of the community.
And it was really, in terms of the entertainment factor, it was really very entertaining, I should say. I mean, I felt somebody grab me from behind and laughing, because there was a few wayward tackles, as we know. I look back and it's Shofiqul, he's grabbing me and he's on the floor rolling around. I had no option but to roll around as well. You're quite tense because you want your team to run. But I think that summed it up, Shofiqul, because what it is, not only was it a serious trophy to win, but there was a lot of fun in it.
Absolutely.
And that made it, it brought everybody together.
Exactly.
Even at the end, I think the main thing, again, just Bokul, you were on the pitch as well. The thing I noted at the end was, as soon as the whistle went, both teams celebrated like they won it. And that was, for me, was very special, because Sunamganj came over, they hugged us, they gave us pats on the back. If I was a bystander there, I would have thought they'd won it. They were just as happy for us winning it as saying, there were no tears, there were no, should we say, harsh words, there was no finger pointing, none of that. Everybody, and I think, ambassadors all around as well. Shofiqul, in terms of your over 40s, obviously it was much more serious business in terms of, it wasn't fun like we had with the over 50s. What did you tell them prior to going out? What was your game plan for the final?
Game plan, because I was very lucky. I had a lot of experienced players in my squad, like Goyas, Moj, Sanabai. There's a lot of players. They've been playing a long time, so they made it so easy for me, and I have to thank my assistant. He helped me a lot. His name Joshim. So it's me and him, we made them brother made us so easy for us to manage. So we just have to tell them, just do this and that, and they just keep doing, especially on the field. Muj is when the player is down or miss a chance, he is the first person to run up to him and say, it's gone. Let's let's carry on. The thing is, there's a lot of help we got from the brothers. And because for me, I've been managing a long time in a club level. I find it so hard to manage young players, but them brothers, they made us life so easy to manage. So we don't have to do much, to be honest with you. So I'm really thankful, and honored, like managing them brothers. Made our life so easy. So that's much I can say.
Coming back to Bokul here as well again, do you think the success of both teams, one playing in the final, one actually winning the final as well, has inspired other people from Sunamganj? If we just stick to Sunamganj for now, you must have received some telephone calls, messages, texts of people saying, I've never been involved, but I would like to be involved with you on the overfield. Has it inspired other people?
Yes, that's without any doubt. I mean, after the final and when the picture start getting on the social media, received the text, received the phone call as well, that they want to get involved, how they can get involved, over 50 plus, even the 40 as well. Because as you know, we have lots of Sunamganjis lives outside London area as well, Birmingham, Oldham and Sunderland, and they keep phoning up as well. They really want to get involved, and we said, this tournament we didn't have enough time to get everybody involved because we have a very short time. But for the next one, inshallah, when Shurun Latif arranged in the near future, we'll have enough time. So I'll get the other people involved as well. One thing that we are planning to do, obviously, once the cloud die down, we're just going to sit down, all the committee, Shurun District Committee. We're going to do a road trip. Rather than they coming to us, we will go to them and tell them that what we want to do and what sort of involvement we want from them. So we actually will go to the other Shunamgunjis in up north, south, and invite them to come down. So obviously we want to get everybody involved. That's the main thing about main thing about over 40 and over 50 playing. When it comes to under open age, is very, very competitive. But that over 40 and over 50 inspired other people like myself and other 40 and 50 plus as well. They can participate. That football is not that hard, but they can get involved and be proud of the district they're representing.
Goyas, an important observation we made right at the beginning. Now, I use you and myself as an example at the beginning, that when you were in your pomp and heyday, not that you're not at the moment, you're a district cup winner, of course you are, but what I'm talking about, when you in your younger days, you wouldn't have noticed a youngster like me sitting there watching you, admiring your gameplay and style and trying to model myself on the way you played as a starry-eyed youngster there. But it's always been in my mind, to the point now we're actually in the same studio. On Sunday we were on the same pitch in certain instances, and we're in the same studio. Just on that observation, what I want to ask you is, we might not always realize the impact that we have on people's lives.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's vital. Sometimes you may come across the stories like this and you may feel, it gives, if that was me, it would give me a warm feeling, thinking, you know what, I'm really glad I made a positive impact on a youngster who watched me. And now he's telling me 20, 25 years later, that's what he used to do. On that basis, how important do you think, because when we look at elite level football, Premiership, for example, let's take that for example, it almost seems not unreal that although people see the Rooneys and they see the Diego Costas and they see Coutinho and all these players and Ibrahimovic and all these stars there as well, they're unattainable. They always seem too far out of reach. You're very unlikely to ever get close enough to them to even get a selfie, this, that, the other. So they're out of people's ranges. Whereas the example I used there, I could go up to Goyas by now and take a selfie with him now as well. It's real because it's somebody who I admired as a youngster, and there are several cases now as well that are happening like this. How important is it for us? I know we saw it as a fun thing as well, but how important do you think the role of everybody who took part in a cup like this, let's take Sunamganj for example, the impact and the importance of their role in terms of being role models? How important is that?
It's most definitely important. Without role models, there isn't a sort of end game. There isn't a sort of something to aim for, and they have to be positive role models as well. In our footballing community, we have got many positive role models. My sort of generations, you know, in my generation, I could name quite a few of them. You know, our strikers, Jamal, who's played at the highest level as well, Shajad, who should have played higher level, Mujahid, and many others who have actually played semi-professional football. They're still part of the footballing community at the moment, and you know, striving to give opportunities to others, to the young as well. As you know, there are many projects that is trying to get youngsters into playing high level football as high as possible. At the moment, we've got Sporting Bengal who play at the semi-professional level in the Essex Senior League. That's as high as you can actually physically go and see within the sort of local area. When you do go there, you can see, you know, older brothers who you sort of bump into in the street actually go and play semi-professional football. But as you say, any level higher than that is quite difficult to get to.
Sure.
And it's a dream for many youngsters. But it's a dream that can become reality. You know, what we're doing is at grassroots level. It's a start. But, you know, for youngsters out there, dream, and your dream can become a reality because, you know, we've got the structure in place for that.
So if you've managed Stepney Summer League, you're managing Barnardo's in terms of the vets. You've done the whole thing. You've done the over 40s last Sunday as well. So you've got vast experience when it comes to engaging with players. What needs to be done? Should we say people are going to look at this interview, this show. They're going to look at the press reports coming out from it. Older generation people will be inspired. They will be making phones to yourself, Bokul, and saying, look, I want to get involved with Sunnah going to the next tournament. But some of the youngsters would also be looking at it and thinking, I would like to go one step further and make it. What's lacking when it comes to, let's take Bangladeshi footballers for example. Is it because they're not fully committed, or do they need more parents supporting them? What do you think is the cause, or what's stopping them from taking the giant step?
That's quite a difficult answer. Yeah.
In your opinion?
Because in our time, our generation, our time, we didn't get the facility what we get now at the moment. So there's a low academy going on now. So now we got more chance of our kids, and most important, we are parents ourselves. So yes, we know how what football can do to us. So we're pushing our kids to. We take our kids to academy. Because the low academy, low pitches now. We can get to, so that's the reason. Now, I see next couple of years, for say now 5 years time, we probably get to see somebody playing high level because the system in place now. We just need to get the kids on the right place, and from there we just take on. And before we never had all this, you know, it was hard to get 11-side pitches to play in our time. To be honest with you. So now there's a lot of pitches, a lot of people. They do under 8, under 10, under 12 kids. You know, so there's me, because I'm a parent myself. I love to take my kids to games. I look for if I can take it to this academy, it would be good for my kids. So you know, those kind of things looking at now. So because we got a lot of option now. So yeah, I hope in the next 5 years we can see a Bengali, one of our own kids
really pushing on.
Yeah.
Over 50s, what are the plans now going forward? Are you looking to beat us again for next year, or what have you got in terms of that very disappointing, should we say, defeat for you on Sunday? What are your plans now for?
Emdad, because like I said, I mean, I never played football. I've always been an organizer.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I mean, whether Sylhet has won, I felt like I have won, as you have said.
And it was evident.
Evident, that's it, exactly. I mean, for me, back of my mind, just go and enjoy. Because by winning that, it's not going to take you anywhere. The community came together, all the 50 plus people came together, the player came together. That's personally for me, that's a winning itself.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing had Goyas inspired us after our last training session, when on the changing room. He said, look, not everybody just want to go and enjoy. There's some of the players work really hard to win the tournament. Yeah. To touch the trophy. So please bear in mind, you're going there to win. And that's when actually I came into a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
That rather than just, yes, I might be this sort of guy, don't play football, just go and enjoy yourself. But other player other people, they do training and hard work to win the tournaments. So that's when I took the inspiration from him and the wise word from him, and I conveyed it to over 50. That look, I know I keep telling you go and enjoy, but at least enjoy and do your level best to win it.
To win it.
Yeah, not winning that. Actually, now thinking it did hurt, but it didn't. It did hurt after the way he
Physically and mentally hurted.
Physically and mentally, that's true. But next year again, obviously, we will try to get the other players will get involved. Inshallah, there's few Shunam Gonji will be 50. Who are currently playing at the moment, and we'll have a stronger team. But it's not that we're just going to go there and with the mentality just we have to win it. No, we'll go there to enjoy, entertain the community, and make more friends.
And on that basis, I just wanted to share with you guys was, after our trophy presentation, obviously the big boys, yourself, you came up. So I was asked to take a few pictures. By the time I'd finished taking your pictures and everything, I was walking back. My team had gone because they've had enough. I'm walking, and right on the pitch, the winner's trophy and a player's trophy, and I'm thinking, has somebody gone for a loo break? Somebody just forgot it there. I'm thinking, this is what you get when you manage over 50. So I had to pick it up there. So I took 4 trophies off because Bokul Bhai presented me with the Friends of Jagannath for trophy that day. I got my manager's one, so I went home with a handful. I said, but I walked home with 4 trophies.
I've got a theory.
Yes.
Reason behind that. Since we've been organising these competitions, particularly the veteran competition, I haven't eaten as much as as I can remember. After every game, before every game, during a meeting, after a meeting, we're constantly eating. And I think on that particular day, it was such a long day. We started, 9:30 in the morning? Yeah. Come on, 6 o'clock in the evening, we had to go and eat. And I think that was our priority. Everybody, God knows how much myself and Bokul ate that night, but we really did eat. And that's one of the beauty of it. I mean, it wasn't just us who got together and, we went out for a meal. Others joined in as well from other districts, from other football clubs. And that's what I'm really enjoying myself now, as well as, going out there playing. I actually play to work up an appetite and go and eat. So.
Interesting, because the over 50s, the first day we went to training, straight after the game, Halal Bhai goes, can we all go and have a meal? I said, where? He said, Gram Bangla. I said, okay, next time, I've got something to do. The second training session, he said the same thing, and I said, this is getting a bit
There's a pattern
obsession with Gram Bangla. When we won the tournament, the third one was they wanted to do it again. One of the players, he said, no, I've got a restaurant in Kentish Town, you're all welcome to come to my place. That's 3. When we won the final, Halal Bhai comes up, he says, Emdad Bhai, we need to celebrate and go somewhere special. I said, don't tell me, don't tell me, I know exactly what you're going to say, leave it. And we left it at that. But like Goyas Bhai mentioned there as well, it's everybody's building up. It all works very well for team spirit bonding. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
it's all part and parcel of getting together and getting united and enjoying yourselves.
This is especially like after the game, going to a meal. It's always you do that. Every tournament, you've been there from early morning, and you've been working hard a whole day, tournament day. Player does deserve that treat. So we're really thankful to that community that they can arrange that for us. So it's something always.
And our community is very, very generous when it comes to these matters. Where you get somebody just randomly comes up and they say, "Come to my place," and they're amazingly generous. And I just wanted to point out and clarify that Gram Bangla are not sponsoring this show. Okay. Yet, but they should do. Last question for Goyas. There is your memories of a tight-knit final. It was a great controversy. We had 2 red cards shown there, with 2 of the legends getting all hot and fired up as well. It was a cagey game. Obviously, that was expected. The day was very cold. We had a nice start with the sunshine, and then after the veterans finished, it all went downhill after that as well. So people were cold. People were a bit agitated as well. And it was very tight-knit, and obviously you did a job on Sylhet. That's the way I saw it as well. So your analysis, quick analysis on the...
Right, very quick analysis. Leading up to the game, we obviously, after the second game in the group stages, we knew we were going to play Sylhet in the final. So mind games had started in the last sort of game in the group stages. I think the manager did a wonderful job of playing every single person in the squad and he already had in his mind the sort of first 11 in the final. So more or less, the 11 that played in the final were relatively sort of fitter and fresher. Game plan, obviously manager had his strategy. He played a 4-5-1 system. We talked about the opposition's strengths and weaknesses. One of their strengths was obviously a very sort of close friend, my teammate as well, who played on the opposite side, and he's one of the better known strikers, called Emdad. He hadn't played the group stages, so he was absolutely fresh. He sort of was a threat. They had a very solid defence, so we knew goals wouldn't be easy. But we had our own sort of strengths as well. We had Jamalu, who hadn't played. I think he played one game in the group stages just as a warm up. And we had Duo, who had been scoring regularly as well. So just to put the two teams into perspective, these two teams have many players playing in a national tournament in 2 weeks' time, and they will be participating in that. And I think they're already in the third round. So these aren't just players from local clubs. These are players who actually play at a national level, in their sort of age group. So, the incident you mentioned, I'd rather not talk about it. It happened between two friends, actually, to be honest, and and they've continued to be friends. Yeah. It happens in football, but generally it was a cagey affair. Not many chances, and I think Sunamgwen did very well to restrict the opposition from making clear-cut chances. And funny enough, when both teams went down to 10 men each, that's when Sunamgwen actually made a chance, and they actually scored from a corner, I think, and Duo sort of headed it in. Header. Yeah, funny enough, he was missing those headers all throughout the tournament, and he was scoring everything else but not headers. And it just had to be him who gets a goal. And he wasn't even up front. He was the person who got sent off that originally started up front. So fate was there. Fate played a huge part in the final. And that was it, really. It was a 1-0 game. It wasn't a sort of, a boring type of 1-0 game. It was very competitive. It was an end-to-end game in the end. Straight after we scored, it was, it was fast-paced. But bear in mind, that was the fourth game both teams were playing. And having said that, 40 plus, they were still going at each other. The crowd enjoyed it. It was a great day altogether.
Without giving much away, in my own mischievous way, if you want to get an idea of the pitch fracas and red cards, what I would like you to do is go onto YouTube and type in Billy Bremner and Kevin Keegan. That will give you an idea of what actually happened on there now. As we've talked about the Sylhet District Cup, this is an initiative of Sonali Otit, which means Golden Past, at the forefront of promoting football amongst the over 35s and over 40-year-olds, and now, as we know, over 50s as well. This will hopefully become an annual tournament, and as time progresses, with the support of the community, this will become a more regular feature in local football as well. My thanks to my guests for attending today and enlightening us and talking to us about your great win, and congratulations again for the win as well. And that's it from me. Thanks for watching The Sports Show.